The world's most pissed off snow cone is chilling and killing, but don't call him Frosty. We watched Jack Frost. We watch it so you don't have to. So you know what that means.
Horrible horror, so bad it's scary. Splitting up is never okay. Plot, who needs it? Don't turn on the lights. Cars don't ever start, but that's alright. Running upstairs instead of out the door. Good acting, what do we need that for? Horrible horror, so bad it's scary. Enjoy the show.
What's up, fuckers? Welcome to the next episode of Horrible Horror. I am Marshall Hampton, your host. With me, as always, is Aaron, and I got my order. This is the podcast where we watch the worst of the worst in horror movies. Movies so bad they're scary. Like I said, I'm your host, Marshall Hampton. With me, as always, Mr. Aaron Southworth.
Hello, how's it going, everybody? It's a chilly one today.
It is a chilly one because it is now December. It is the holiday month, the holiday season. So we're going to get in the holiday spirit, and we're doing a month long of Christmas themed horror movies. And boy, let me just tell you, we are all in for a month long treat because they all suck.
And there's a lot of them.
There are a lot of them.
There's a lot to choose from, so I was pretty impressed.
So we're kicking off the month. We're starting off with the 1997, not to confuse with the 1998 version of Jack Frost.
I gotta admit, the 98 version, Michael Keaton is one scary motherfucker in that.
Yep, this is not the Michael Keaton comedy family wormy thing. This is a shit-tacular, awful horror, almost more slapstick in a way.
It starts going that way. Yeah.
I don't know what they were going for with this, but anyway, so Jack Frost, good lord. Runtime about 90 minutes, nothing, average. Written by Jeremy Page and Michael Cooney, directed by Michael Cooney. You can find it on Hulu, Netflix, and Vudu.
And YouTube, that's where I found
You
it.
found it on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm starting to, a lot of these movies I'm starting to kind of dig a little bit on YouTube first, just to kind of see if it's out there. But I saw Thanksgiving on YouTube, and I just saw Jack Frost. Yeah.
It is free on Hulu, so one of the free ones, so you don't actually have to have a subscription if you want to watch this, which, anyway. The cast, really just a bunch of 80s and 90s character actors mostly made up the cast. The only real noticeable person in the cast is Shannon Elizabeth.
Her second appearance here on Horrible Horror.
Her second movie. Now, we might have to start to keep like a little tally of who's been on the show about.
Right.
So she's at number 2 now, behind Ron Jeremy's 4, I think.
Yeah. He's leading the pack, but she's coming up from behind.
Yeah. This is her claim to fame. This is her first movie role. Not her first acting gig, but this is her first motion picture, first movie.
I did not know that.
It was. And really the only other, there's a lot of people in here who had Paul Daverow, who is the hardware owner. He's played by F. William Parker, he's got 132 credits dating back to 1963.
Jesus.
Saying Christopher Allport, the lead, he's got 92 credits. The only ones that are even worth mentioning that I wrote down that were kind of neat were the guy who plays Agent Manners, Stephen Mendel. He has 66 credits, and the only one that I thought was kind of funny, and I wrote down just because you and I are familiar. He was in the Angry Video Game Nerd movie. They made the official Angry Video Game movie that came out, or they made a year ago or something like that.
For some of our listeners, if you don't know the Angry Video Game Nerd, just type into YouTube. He's got some great little shorts.
Yeah, he's got a lot of great YouTube stuff. And then the guy who plays Jack Frost, he is mostly a TV actor, lots of TV stuff. But the thing I noticed about him is he's done a ton of video game voiceover. And I wrote down 3 of them. I'm like, some of my personal favorites.
Okay.
He was in, we'll start with the oldest ones first. He was in the original X-Men Legends, where he voiced Gambit and Sentinel #1.
Really?
He was in X-Men Legends 2, Rise of Apocalypse, where he did Gambit again and Mikhail Rasputin. And then he did in Marvel Ultimate Alliance. You can see a pattern there.
Yeah.
He was co-star Corsair, Cyclops, and Dum Dum Dugan. So I was like, hey, those are some great videos, fun video games.
Wow.
So
Okay.
on 'em. Anyway, that's it. The rest of the cast.
You know, it's
doesn't
funny
matter.
because when I was watching this, I was wondering if the guy was a voice actor.
Yeah.
Because he's not a great looking. I mean, he's not an ugly guy, but he doesn't really seem to have the TV looks.
Yeah. That's basically TV and voice acting. So this shit movie opens with what's supposed to be like at first kind of a touching scene of a Christmas tree and ornaments. The credits are done like all the names on Christmas tree ornaments.
I kind of like that.
And it's a little girl asking her uncle Henry for a bedtime story, and it sparks off supposed to be at first you think, oh, it's gonna be touching, then it becomes silly again. It's like Henry's like,
Well, he
telling,
starts
like, the most horrible things. He's like, I don't want to hear. He's like, you asked for a story, you're getting a story now. Shut up. Like,
He goes around. There's a madman, Jack Frost, who goes around stabbing people with icicles.
Yeah.
And it's really graphic. And the little girl's voice is definitely an adult woman
doing a little
who's
kid.
doing it's comical.
Yeah,
you know?
it is. So yeah, he tells like the story of Jack Frost. Now this is the story of Jack Frost up to basically present day. It's like somebody sitting there telling their niece or nephew the story of like
a serial killer.
of like like Ted Bundy or something like that before he got executed.
And it's incredibly graphic.
Yeah. So once the credits are over, it cuts to the prisoner, like modern time or present day, I should say. And it's a prisoner transport truck driving through a snowstorm, and it's taking Jack Frost to his execution, which he's supposed to be there in half an hour. And that's just poor logistics and poor planning. Because if the guy's supposed to be executed in a half hour, why wait till last minute to get him to the prison?
Right.
You would think he would have been there a long time ago.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm just kind of like, this doesn't make any sense.
No.
Yeah.
He would have been on a death row prison for like 20 years waiting for that. Not just,
Right.
oh, shit, we got to get you there in like half hour. We got to go.
Running late, pal.
Right.
But the guards are like taunting him. They're just like, deep fried Jack's on the menu tonight. They're
Yeah, they're
yelling
being
stuff.
asshole guard trying to, it's really shitty. The writing in this movie is bad.
Yeah.
But, so Jack's in the back with one guard, and there's two more guards in the front cab driving the truck who are both looking out the smallest window I've ever seen for a big truck. You can tell it's like a fake cab, which is like one window. And it's got the wiper trying to brush the snow.
One wiper.
One wiper.
Coming down from the top gives you about a field of vision of about, like, I don't know, 10 inches.
Yeah. And you got two guards trying to like look through this little opening.
Driving through a blizzard.
Yeah. So somehow Jack manages to get the upper hand on the guard in the back, and he kills him by breaking his neck with his foot. You don't really see what goes on. It's just now all of a sudden
no
Jack's
idea.
free. And then we see another truck. This one belonged to some chemical research company. It's driving down the road in the opposite direction. So it's heading towards the prisoner truck. They're heading towards each other. And I did notice that the snow is only in the foreground, and it's supposed to be a blizzard, but all you see is like snow coming in front of the camera, but there's no snow on the streets or highway whatsoever, or in the background. All the trees, everything in the background, there's no snow.
That's something. That's a theme kind of through this movie
gonna say,
too.
yeah,
It's like
as
there's
the
just
movie goes-
for a snow killer. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of snow
It's supposed to take place in like dead of winter, snow everywhere, snowstorm.
in Colorado outside of Denver. Yeah,
No, they sprinkle some snow here in the foreground,
Yeah.
but then everything else is just like bright and sunny and warm days.
looks nice.
Yeah. So of course the trucks end up colliding head on, and this frees Jack in the process of the crash.
All right, and this was ridiculous. The car accident scene, they're both like, oh, everyone screams,
Yeah.
slams on their brakes, tires screeching, and then it shows the two come, and they just barely touch bumpers.
Yeah.
And it goes, ding, ding, and boom, boom. Everyone just starts rolling around. The effects are so shitty
Yeah.
to simulate this effect. They're like basically just spinning the camera around.
Yeah, they put the camera
You
on
know,
accident, just
like on a
spin it.
rotisserie,
While
and
they're
it's spinning around, they're
screaming.
like, whoa, just wiggling around. Oh, it's so bad. It's
It's
really
awful.
bad.
Yeah, it's so wow. I have a comment about it. I was trying to make this there, but let's just jump right to it because we're talking about the effects, and they are so bad in this movie. I so bad. You know what? I'll wait. 'Cause if I say something,
Okay.
I might
All
give
right.
some away for later. So
All
I'm not gonna say it. So anyway, the black guard is killed in the crash instantly. So the other guard, the one that was driving, he sees that Jack's gotten free. He's like, "Oh shit!" And Jack's get up and he's like, he's about to kill the guard when the chemical tanker explodes, spraying Jack with some experimental acid.
And when it hits him like full
It's like a
on.
fire hose.
Yeah, it just blasts him, and he's going, ah! Now, this effect isn't bad when his face starts to melt, and he starts melting at first.
At first, yeah.
At first, I'm like, okay, this is a pretty good effect. And then it just gets worse and worse and
Yeah.
worse. The effects just get, it's like they start off good, start off in a good place.
Like they blew their entire special effects budget for the first 2 seconds of the acid melting scene. And then it's like, well, shit, we kind of blew a lot there. Now we got shit for the rest of the movie.
the guard is watching Jack Frost melt into the snow.
Yeah.
But he's not really horrified or disturbed or shocked. He just looks like he smelled a fart.
Yeah.
You know, he's just standing there kind of like, ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. You know, really horrible acting.
So Jack is melted away, and his cells bond with the snow in what looks like a cartoon
Yeah.
meant for a grade school science class. And now we cut to the sheriff who arrested Jack in the first place. His wife and his son driving home from, doesn't fucking matter. And she's told him that it's all over, that Jack's dead by now, or, because
He must have been
in the real time he would have been
yeah.
executed already, except if it wasn't for the crash. So that means they're up past, this kid's way up past midnight at that point. Why is this kid still, what are they doing? And he flashback, the sheriff has this flashback to how he arrested Jack, and it's a stupid scene. Really, basically, it boils on he caught Jack pissing along the side of the highway, and that's how he got arrested.
Yeah.
So, and then in the flashback, Jack threatens the sheriff as he's hauled away to prison, coming out of the court. He's like, "I'll get you. I'll find a way."
I gotta
blah,
say,
blah, blah.
this actor is really animated. He's being drug off, from the courthouse. And he's like, "I'll get you." And
He
his
goes all
eyes
in.
are
I will
big.
say he's going.
I'll kill your family.
Yeah.
I'll ruin your town. Fuck you. Just going. He's really going buck nutty.
Yeah, he is. He admitted.
Yeah.
So we jump back to the present, and the sheriff's family comes upon the crash site, and they're waved by federal agents like nothing to see here or whatever. And the sheriff's like, "Hey, what happened here?" And the cop's like, "Nope, it's a federal matter. Keep going." And the sheriff's like, he doesn't give two shits. Like, all right, whatever.
He's so meek.
He's
This
like-
is like in his hometown,
Yeah.
like right outside his town.
Like he's the sheriff.
The fucking
he's the man in charge. He's like, "Hey, what's going on here? I'm the town." She's like, "Nope, nothing to see." He's like, "Oh, okay. Sorry, officer. I'll go now."
Fuck off, sheriff. Okay.
So the next morning, the sheriff's family's all in the kitchen, and it's mostly useless banter. This kid is fucking retarded.
Yes.
This is the dumbest kid we've seen in a movie in a while. To me, he seems like a 12-year-old who's trying to play an 8-year-old who acts like a 6-year-old.
Wow. Huh.
'Cause
Bravo.
That's what this kid comes off of. And
He's way too old to be this dumb.
yeah, this dumb and gullible and like, "Oh my ha." Yeah. So he's cooked up some sort of brown gunk in a pot on the stove, and he puts in a plastic bag.
It just
for
looks
his
like
dad.
shit.
Yeah, it does.
He-
It looks like shit with little small marshmallows.
Yeah,
in
he's
it.
like, "Hey, Dad, I made you oatmeal or something like that," and he's like, "Oh, I'll take it for lunch," and he puts it in a bag and
plastic bag.
plastic
Fill it
bag,
up.
and
Fill it up.
So he leaves with this bag of shitty food.
Yeah, and so now it cuts to downtown. Oh yeah, Snowminton. That's the name of this fucking town. Is Snowminton.
Yes, it is.
Let that sink in. Snowminton. Couldn't get any more creative than that.
And there's not a lot of snow in Snowminton.
Nope, there's not. So, basically, the downtown scene basically consists of like one street corner
In like 2 stores.
and 2 stores. Yeah.
yeah, it's the tiniest town ever.
Yeah.
It's like population 53.
So people are setting up their snowmen for this, the town's annual snowman competition. And
The sheriff's making the rounds. He's
yeah,
talking
sheriff,
to people
doing,
here and
it's
there.
like he's,
yeah. Meet and
Andy
greet.
Griffith type, like just bopping around, meeting all the townspeople. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, imagine that playing in the background this entire scene. That's exactly what it is. This is where we first meet Jill, played by a very young Shannon Elizabeth, and her father and her brother Billy. Now, it is so painfully obvious that the snowmen are made of the fakest snow I've ever seen. The snow doesn't look like snow. It looks more like to me like coconut shavings.
I was thinking
Like
kind of
I
like
used to have donuts. Like, oh, those look like coconut. I used to get them at donuts.
yeah, like it kind of almost looked like styrofoam with like little wispies hanging off.
Yeah,
it.
It's so bad looking. It's awful. So Jill's mom, she's making a snowman with angel wings and tells Jill's dad that she always wanted to be the angel on top of a Christmas tree. And I just wrote down, gee, I'm sure that won't come back to bite her in the ass.
That was
later.
the first thing I said too. I was just like, up, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Okay, get more obvious what's going to happen there. So the sheriff continues making his rounds around town, chit-chatting with the local folk. This is where we meet Mr. Davro, the owner of the hardware store, who is always offering 20% off to everybody for something.
This guy is working his nuts off, man. He is trying to sell. Anytime he's talking to anybody, he's trying to sell something to him. So
any excuse you can think of, 20% off for this, 20% off for that.
I appreciate his work ethic. He's an American.
So the sheriff, and I keep calling him sheriff. Because I don't care shit about
I don't know
names.
his fucking name.
I don't know his name. He's just sheriff. The whole movie. He arrives at the police station and tosses a bag of brown shit gunk that his kid made in the trash outside. But then he hears voices in his head. His son's voice in his head that, Daddy, I made it for him.
I made it special for you.
And so he goes, gets out of the trash, and tosses it into his car.
He has a guilt trip of throwing away this shit meal, and then he puts it back into his car.
And I was like, what is the fucking point of that? I mean, I don't understand, because do the filmmakers think that we would forget who made that bag of shit meal in like the last 5 minutes since we saw that scene? Like, what's the point of that?
Right.
He could have had, mostly is the voiceover. He could have gotten out, thrown away, and like, oh, okay, and gone back again. We would have known what it was and what was going on.
And of course, this is again, just like the angel, like, I want to be the angel on the tree. It's like, okay, well, something's going to come back with this fucking shit meal.
Yeah. It's just, come on, people. Give the audience some credit. And so inside, he gets a note from his secretary, Marla, that somebody died. And so the sheriff now and his 2 deputies, they're standing in front of or over this frozen dead body of an old man in a rocking chair. And the sheriff's first instinct is to call the FBI and to ask if Jack is dead. And I'm like, what? And because before they even call us, he's like, oh, it's murder, homicide. We gotta kill her. And why do they think it's fucking murder?
Doesn't call the coroner, doesn't call anybody.
They do get the doctor up there eventually, but I'm just...
His first instinct is to call to check on Jack Frost.
Yeah. But they specifically say that there's no evidence, no blood, no tracks, no wounds.
No footprints in the snow.
No footprints. So why the fuck are you thinking it's murder? And it looks like an old man who just sat outside and froze to death.
Yeah.
So logically think that's exactly what happened. The guy just froze to death in his rocking chair. But like, we got a killer, we got a crazy killer running loose.
There's nothing that indicates murder.
That.
Right.
Nothing. So this cuts to Agent Manners, who's the FBI guy, and tells him that yes, Jack Frost died in the crash.
Mm-hmm.
So now the town doctor, he shows up. He goes over the body. And he tells the sheriff that his head was snapped by an amazing force, but from something most likely soft. So I'm like, really, Doc? You got all that? Like, damn.
You're working in a small town? You're good.
Yeah, you should be like one of those CSI people.
Right.
Because, goddamn. So back at the house, the sheriff's wife pulls up with groceries, and she tells the kid, that she's like, oh, I like the snowman you built outside. And the kid's like, hey, I didn't build a snowman. And he's like, well, it's not finished, so why don't you go outside and finish it? And she hands him like 3 fucking carrots.
Yeah, nobody stops and goes, who built this
giant,
huge?
Yeah,
it's
like 6-7 feet tall snowman.
Yeah, it's like a 7-foot tall snowman.
They change the size throughout the movie. Sometimes it's like 6-7 feet. Other times it's like 4 or 5 feet. It's
Yeah.
constantly changing
Yeah,
sizes.
yeah. But I guess that makes sense. But anyway, he runs out there to go decorate the snowman.
Mhm.
And he's putting in the lumps of coal for eyes. He's putting on the nose.
Yep.
He put little branches for eyebrows and things. And then a group of, I guess, 14-year-olds come up behind him.
All right. First of all, before we get to that, I just have one thing. Well, first of all, yeah, during that, back to the police station, there's an angry mob ranting about the dead guy it's small town, so I guess word passes really fast, but they're ranting and raving like, we have a killer and blah, blah, blah.
They're going apeshit.
They're like forming like a lynch mob to hunt down this guy, and Dad offers 20% off of ammunition. So, but then the mob leaves and the deputies come. One of the deputies comes in wanting to see if Marla's ready for their lunch date, and she's like, do I look ready? And she sprays him in the fucking face with hairspray. And he just smiles and takes like, oh, Marla. And I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that
If
bitch.
if I was like, hey, you ready for your date? She sprays me in the face with a can of hairspray. Like, fuck you, bitch. I'm out. I would not, or you. That's fucked up.
And she's not good looking.
She's, I guess, for that town. Like, she's a small town, good looking.
She's the only one available.
Probably everybody else is married or yeah.
Or running a train on Shannon Elizabeth.
So now we go back to the kid who is putting the face on a snowman. And again, this points out the fact that this kid is one of the stupidest kids ever. Because he can't figure out where to put the eyes, nose, and the mouth on a snowman without the help from a snowman oven mitt or puppet.
I think it was an oven mitt, yeah.
Yeah, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Because he keeps looking at this thing on his hand. It's like an oven mitt or a puppet of a snowman. He's like, oh, the eye goes here. And then he looks down again. Oh, the eye goes here. Looks at it. It's a fucking goddamn. A 3-year-old knows where a face on a snowman goes out to help. Like, this is the stupidest kid I've ever seen in a movie.
That is pretty bad.
So he finished.
But that's when the 14-year-olds show up.
Yeah, and he finishes the faces, and you see the mouth grows like icicle fang teeth just a little bit. Now, Billy, who is Shannon Elizabeth's brother,
Younger brother,
and 3 other teens who are just completely random, they show up. They're saying something like, "Hey, a kid and a snowman need to move because they're blocking they're in the way of the black ice sled race." And the kid's like, "But this is my front yard." I'm like, "That's the one only logical thing this kid makes in the entire movie." He's like, dude, this is my yard. Like, you tell me to get out of my yard. And he's like, we don't give a shit. Get out of our way. Are we going to move you? You going to move? Or are we going to move you ourselves? So, Billy, not liking what the little redheaded stupid kid says, just walks up to the snowman and takes his sled and swings like a fucking baseball bat and just knocks the head off the snowman. And the other teens
laugh and sled off.
And they one goes running, they sled on down. And which is weird because most of the time for a sled, you go down hills. And this is like completely flat ground. It's like they're just sliding out somebody's driveway and it's supposed to be a race
It looks
path.
really bad.
It makes
really
no sense.
Bad. But anyway,
so the snowman at this point comes to life a little bit. And you see him like an arm shoot and kind of push Billy down right in front of one of the other teens on his sled. And the teen sled slices Billy's head clean off as he slides whatever over his neck. Billy's head goes flying, and the ginger redhead stupid kid just stands there like an idiot saying, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. Nobody screams. Nobody is like, holy fucking shit. We just saw a kid get crazy murdered. And there's like, I didn't do it. No, it wasn't me. It's like
bad.
It's like somebody took the last cookie or spilt milk when their mom wasn't looking. Like, I didn't do it. The cat did it or something.
This is impossible.
Yeah.
Okay, this is impossible to happen. So this. Fine. Kid gets shoved down. Fine. He gets hit in the side of the face, even neck, by this, sled. It's not going to sever a head. There's no clearance. You can't do it. And
I will make should make the point that it is like the toboggan stuff with like the metal.
That's fine. It could fuck him up. It could cut his neck pretty good, and it would hurt pretty bad. But he wouldn't die. 2, he wouldn't get his head cut off. So I'm mad about that.
As you should be, because it's bullshit. So anyway, so after Billy is killed, I'm jumping ahead just a short ways because it's so stupid, or time jumps ahead, and now So a little time passes. Now there's several of the town folk outside of the sheriff's house, along with the sheriff and Billy's family are gathered outside and of where Billy was. The sheriff, I think he takes like one pitiful shovel full of snow, dumps on his blood pool of blood. Like
Yeah,
it's like it's
remember
he's like
that.
trying to like cover up the blood. But
So they're at the death scene of the kid, and there's a pool of blood
in the snow.
the snow, and they're collecting the body, and they just kind of toss like the small,
handful.
like a
It's
handful
it's
of
a
snow,
giant
and
shovel,
the
but it's like a
pool
handful.
the pool is like 4 feet,
Yeah.
you know, and just go, that'll do.
And he just like shoves it around his foot a little bit, like, okay, it's covered up. And he walks. It's like,
It's so
what?
stupid.
Yeah, it's like, why even do that?
Right.
If it, like, why even show that? So Billy's body is loaded into the ambulance while his head is carried off in a plastic bag.
Clear plastic bag.
It's like a long, it's like a bread bag, or
Right,
Like a
I
bread
mean-
little bag. It's just long.
Why don't you get like a black bag? I mean, they've got the black body
Yeah,
bag.
Won't they just put the head in with the body? I don't know. I was like, nope, we're gonna carry this off in like a plastic shopping bag.
Fucking traumatizing.
So
you
everybody
know?
can see it's clear. Everybody, and there's like a
Hey, look, it's Tommy,
there's
everybody.
like a little
Look, look.
pool of blood
Yeah,
at the bottom
yeah,
of it.
yeah.
It's like, here's everybody. Look, take a look. So Billy's dad is laying into sheriff, and he's saying that his redheaded kid is
maniac.
is the one that killed Billy, and his son is touched by the devil.
Yeah.
And I finally learned at this point that the kid's name is Ryan, but it doesn't fucking matter.
Doesn't
It's
matter.
just stupid kid. So the crowd finally leaves, and we see someone pick up the head of the snowman and put it back on the body. You never see who. It just but the head
Yeah.
gets put back on. So the wife / mother is now cooking dinner in the kitchen, while the sheriff is looking at old letters from Jack that look like old ransom letters, which
Right.
I don't understand because you obviously know.
Yeah.
So he's getting those. He had to have gotten those letters when he was sent to prison.
right.
So he had, probably could have gotten a pen, a pencil, and written a letter.
It's
and
a
he-
long day in prison, Marshall.
Yeah.
You gotta do something. Little
I
arts and
guess,
crafts,
take
maybe.
your time with it, but it's like
Yeah.
you know who it's coming from. Why is it's like ransom letters.
Cut out of a magazine or
like,
something.
each
You know,
letter
random
down,
letters. Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous. So a loud bang is heard from outside. The sheriff gets his gun. He goes to check it out, and it turns out it's just Mr. Davro dropping off bags of salt. Oh, another 20% off. You come back and get more salt. And so we cut. Nothing happens. We switch over to Jill's family, and her parents moping around. She wants to leave her parents' house, and Dad's like, "No, your brother just died." Blah blah blah. I was like, "I'm leaving."
She storms off.
She doesn't really care about her brother. Like, no, she's like, my brother just died, got decapitated.
She's
I'm gonna go
jonesing for some cock.
Yeah, I'm gonna get porked by the Tommy guy over here. Fuck you, Billy.
He's jonesing for a porkin'.
Yeah, she is. And she goes to see, her boyfriend Tommy, who we met briefly earlier
Yeah.
at the snowman thingy. After she leaves, the dad goes out to get more wood, and Jack in snowman form is outside. This is the first time and he looks right at him. Like, you think if I was like, holy shit, where does giant ass snowman come from that wasn't here like 20 minutes ago?
Right.
But he's like, nope, just completely ignores
Everyone
it.
seems very oblivious to snowmen popping up.
Yeah, where there weren't any.
Right.
So, I mean, I would get it. Like, I was stunned. Like, you kept thinking with the snowman competition, at some point in this movie, I kept thinking, okay, they're gonna do some weird thing where he's in with all the other snowmen,
Yeah,
and they
that
don't know
makes
which
sense.
one's which. And
That'd be
that
fun.
would make sense. No, they never do at all. It was like I was waiting for the scene from like that episode of The Office with the snowman and the snowballs.
Which one is it?
and something like that. That was a great scene.
Yeah.
So they dropped the ball on that. Doesn't happen. The father lights up a cigarette and he hears some guys saying, "Hey pal, how about a smoke?" And he grabs his axe and starts looking around. And he's like doing circles like around the snowman, but he's never looking at the snowman. He's looking on the woods and doing all this stuff. And so he grabs the axe and he finally realizes it's a snowman. He's like gonna hack, and the snowman comes to life, grabs the axe from the dad, and shoves it down his throat, handle first.
So instead of using the axe,
yeah,
like
which
an
would make
axe,
sense. Yeah,
he shoves a handle right down his throat.
straight down the throat. So the blade, the axe head sticking out of his mouth, and he dies. So inside, Billy's mother she sees like this puddle of water on the floor, but it's like, oh, Billy or somebody, and she just ignores it and goes back to her seat in the living room. Which now Jack is standing right behind her fucking chair as she sits down. So she basically, like, how does she not see the giant 6-foot snowman standing behind the chair when she's looking right at it? Because you look at where she came from, she had to walk directly towards that chair, turn around and sit down, and there's a snowman 6-7 feet tall right behind it. And she doesn't fucking see it.
She was really into her tea.
I guess, but god damn it. So anyway, the tree lights turn on, and this she does notice. She doesn't know there's fucking giants. She knows the little
like,
lights.
the lights came on.
Huh. And I'm starting to think, okay, I was right about the whole Christmas tree thing coming up. And so the next shot is a wide shot of the living room. See the tree in one side, her sitting in her chair on the other, and now Jack is gone. How the fuck did he vanish so quick? Oh, I hate this movie. So she gets up to check the lights, and then Jack reappears behind her and wraps Christmas lights around her neck over and over again. And
it's a shitty effect.
Oh, it's so bad. And the first thing I thought was like, it brought me back to like the Night of the Dead, Friday 13th. It's like, again, the victims make no effort to fight back.
None.
She just stands there while the shitty effect. Obviously, she did. Greg's like, listen, you have to stand still for us to get this effect go. But in real life, she'd be like, what the fuck's going on? Ah!
To accomplish this shitty effect, please hold still.
Yes, exactly. That's what happens. So the Christmas lights around her neck start choking her. And then Jack smashes an ornament into her mouth.
I did like that.
And then smashes her whole face into a box of ornaments multiple times.
And shakes it around.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. And then before stabbing the tree topper star into her head and leaving her tied up to the Christmas tree.
So she's the angel on the tree.
She's the angel, yeah. And so Mr. Davro walks into this house. He's like, why is he just walking into people's houses?
It's a small town.
He's
dropping off ice.
Yeah.
Or salt. Yeah.
So he walks in, he sees the body, and he sees Jack, and he runs out.
He has the correct reaction.
Yeah.
Holy shit. There's
I'm out
a
here.
huge snowman who just killed someone.
Yeah. And Jack then picks up a scarf, which I think is going to happen, but nothing happens with that fucking scarf till like the end of the goddamn movie. And it cuts away to nothing happening. We go back to the sheriff, and
when he picks up the scarf, he has like a one-liner,
like,
and he's got a couple one-liners in it, and they're so horrible.
That's awful.
Like they're not topical. Like he puts it on, and he goes, "I look good," or something stupid like that.
You gotta dress for the cold.
Yeah,
it's something like
they're not good one-liners.
No.
They're not
Everything
creative.
They're
not funny. They're not interesting. It's really bad.
Pretty much every single line of his since he gets melted by the acid is a one-liner or a pun.
Right.
And they're all bad.
They're not. Some of them don't even make sense.
No. So it cuts to the sheriff and 2 deputies looking at the body and talking about this is the body of Jill's father with the axe sticking out of it. And the sheriff then just like whatever goes back to the station to find Agent Manners and the character of Stone waiting for him. Stone is kind of like this government scientist guy who
stereotypical kind of skinny geeky.
Yeah. And they want to be taken to the crime scene to look at it. And now we cut back to Davro briefly running from something, and then back to the cops and to the agents investigating a puddle of water, from which Agent Stone or Stone, whatever, figures out that Jack can freeze and unfreeze at will in order to change shape. Just by looking at a fucking puddle of water.
Well, he has his little wand.
Or he has a little light up plastic rod.
He sticks his glow stick in there.
Yeah, he sticks a glow stick.
And then he figures out somehow.
Yeah, Jesus, how do you figure that out? So Manners orders that the town be put onto curfew, enforce the curfew. And the sheriff calls a town hall meeting to fill in the town on the curfew and tells them to stay inside the church. Now, this church looks more like a goddamn general store.
Right.
Because it's the same. It's the one building you see in this town, except for like the outside of a hardware store.
Right.
And the outside of this church doesn't look like a fucking church. It's like a goddamn general store, like a bed and breakfast. I had no idea it was a church until
Right.
they said it. Outside, Davros shows up, ranting and raving and destroying all the snowmen in the snowman building
And
competition.
there's a killer snowman.
Yeah,
There's a
like,
killer
"Ah!"
snowman. So he's wrecking all the snowmen. Everyone's like, "What are you doing? Get
Yeah.
a hold of yourself!" And then Agent Manners
Manners-
just comes up to him, wham! Just throws a right cross and
Yep.
knocks his old ass
Knocks his
out,
ass out.
just like Easy.
Yep. So the sheriff sends one of the deputies out to Davros' house to see what set him off. What's
Right.
he ranting about? And on his way there, he comes across a snowman holding up a stop sign in the middle of the road. And once again, he's like, "Huh?" He gets out, he gets a shovel out of his trunk to break
Break down the
it
snow mound. Yeah.
And then when he gets back to the snowman has melted. He's like, "What? Huh? What?" So this guy's at least acting like, what the fuck's going on? And so he puts the shovel back in the trunk, but when he closes the trunk and looks in through the rear window, the snowman is now in the driver's seat and can notice how to drive even though he has no feet. And he backs the car up over the deputy, killing him, and then drives off.
So now Jack Frost, the snowman, is driving away in a
Yep,
police cruiser.
in a police car with no feet. I just want to keep.
I forgot about the no feet.
I just want
bit.
to keep. I want to make sure that fact is known. He's just a round ball with no feet.
Right.
So, so the sheriff learns that his wife went back home to get more blankets for the people at church. So he runs off shouting for his other deputy to go find her, which he was last seen taking Daver away, but he's now back. Like, what?
Yeah. It's
So again, nothing fucking happens here. I mean, nothing. They find out here's spoiler alert. The deputy goes and finds her at the house and brings her back to the church.
done.
Done. There you go.
Yeah.
That just I
just saved 10 minutes.
I used to say 5 to 10 minutes of the movie time right there in 30 seconds. Less than that. So Jill and Tommy, right after the deputy takes the wife away, Jill and Tommy decide to break into the sheriff's house. Why? I don't fucking know. They just break into the sheriff's house.
No rhyme or reason. She's like,
No.
"Come on, let's." He's like, "That's the sheriff's house." Like, "Come on, it'll be fun." What will be fun? Breaking and entering into the sheriff's house.
Sheriff's house? Yeah. Like, what?
Oh, so they get into the sheriff's house
And-
and start making out in the kitchen.
Yeah, they start stripping off layer after layer after layer of clothing. It's supposed to be, I guess, a comical effect to show how cold it is because they're all wearing like 8 layers of clothing.
Takes a while,
And Jill
they-
tells them that go make me a fire, make champagne, and then
Yeah,
come
she's-
find me when you're ready.
They start making out, and he's just like, "Yeah, you fucking tease.
Tease, yep.
I need a if you want me, you're going to need to get me a roaring fire and a bottle of wine." She
The
goes.
women in this town are awful.
Yes, they are. They
They're
re-
awful women in this
hairspray.
town.
Get me wine. Get me, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So she goes upstairs to start drying her hair.
Blow drying her hair.
Blow
She's
drying
yes.
her hair for
He-
a long time.
Yeah, we're gonna come back to that because that needs to be talked about. So while she's upstairs blow drying her, Tommy pops a bottle of what at first I thought was wine, but then I think it's champagne because wine doesn't fizz.
Yeah, it's champagne. Yeah.
But then he wants to put it on ice. So he opens up the freezer and it's packed with full of snow with a carrot sticking out of it.
and it's pretty obvious it's Jack Frost.
Yeah.
And the thing that blows my mind is he opens up this ice box. He opens up the freezer.
Yeah.
And it's just a block of ice. And he looks at it like, "Yep, that seems about normal."
That's totally normal.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah.
I would be like, "What the fuck?"
Exactly. Like, what's wrong with these?
This freezer's fucked up.
It's not even technically ice. He's a snowman, not ice.
So
So
he-
he takes an ice pick and he starts like knocking some chunks of it out.
Chips out some
it
ice.
And he takes those 2 chunks of snow, really, they're snow, and then he plops them into the glasses filled with champagne. And then all of a sudden from outside, a snowball is thrown up against the window. And it cuts back to Jill, who's still upstairs blow drying her hair throughout all of this.
But she stops. She hears the bump. She
Did
hears the
Okay.
snowball. She turns off the radio, turns off the hairdryer, and starts to listen. And nothing happens. And she goes, "Okay," goes back to drying her hair and turns the radio back on.
Okay, I
So
missed that.
she actually hears this,
Okay.
which I'll comment on in a minute.
Okay, I think I know what you could talk about. Yeah, I got you. So, ice pick in hand, Tommy opens the back door to see who threw the snowball, and he basically gets punched in the face by a giant snowman padded mitt.
Fist?
It's not even
I
a
don't
fist.
know.
It's like something in a mitten, like a giant white oven mitt. Just it, like never turned to a fist.
It's just punk.
Pump.
Yeah.
And so he gets punched in the face by Jack, and he says, because Tommy's like, "Hey, who is it? Who's there?" And he gets punched in the face, and then Jack's like, "It ain't fucking Frosty." And so Tommy gets up, and he starts stabbing Jack repeatedly with the ice pick,
He's
but
going,
not
come on, left
surprisingly.
and a right, not on left. Come on.
Yeah, not surprisingly.
No effect.
Nothing happens. And then Tommy asks, "What are you?" And Jack's like, "The world's most pissed off snow cone." And then Jack shoots an icicle out of his hand that impales Tommy in the shoulder, pinning him to a door. And then shoots another icicle that goes right through his fucking forehead, killing him.
So during this time when they're fighting in the kitchen and they're screaming at each other, they're talking and what's going on? And you hear screams and fight, and Shannon Elizabeth doesn't do shit.
Nope.
She did hear one snowball go thump against the door.
Once you brought that up, like I didn't. Now I know. Now you're gonna bring up. That's totally right, because I didn't realize she didn't. I looked away. I didn't know she heard the snowball.
She's just
that's so
blow-drying
bad.
the shit out of her hair.
But she doesn't hear the screaming and the fighting go. My other problem is that if Jack was in the goddamn freezer, he'd take, and in like less than like 10 seconds later, a snowball gets thrown outside. That means he's outside. How the fuck does he get out of the freezer, reform, or
So is it
then
just
outside, and then it's like, how does he fucking do this?
So is it really just a fucked up freezer?
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe Jack was never in the freezer.
Why is there
in the
a
first
carrot
place.
and eyes in?
Yeah.
There's a carrot and eyes in the freezer. What is going on?
So, so upstairs, Jill is finally finished blow drying her hair, and she leaves the bedroom, and she goes into the room, and she sees the bathroom, and the bathtub's filled with water, and she's like, "Oh, Tommy!" She thought Tommy ran a bath for her. She's like, "Thanks, Tommy." So, and she decides to go get in the bathtub. And like, if she was planning to take a bath this whole time anyway, why the fuck did you spend so much time blow drying your hair just to get it wet again in the bathtub?
You're right. I'm doing.
It pisses me off so much. Like, okay, she's blinding her hair, I get it, but it's like she goes straight to a
Goes
tub
right into the tub
and like
just
soaks her whole hair. Like, God damn, this
like,
movie!
She's primping herself, and she's like, "Yeah, I look fucking hot," you know. And she walks like, "Oh, fuck all that work I just did. I'm gonna take a bath."
Oh, fuck you, Jack Frost.
In the sheriff's house.
Yes, it's not even her own house. The sheriff could be home at any minute. It's like, I'm just gonna allow it to take a naked bath. Well, I guess you would be naked in a bathtub anyway.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, God damn it. So while Jill is bathing, the camera shows a long puddle kind of heading it towards the tub, and then a carrot pops up in the water. Like, so someone's holding it underneath the water and just let go and goes boop, pops up, and she thinks it's Tommy's hand. It's like, I don't, Tommy, no, or something like that.
Not now, because
Yeah,
you're
like, even though
made of carrots.
Yeah, it's fucking retarded. And the water starts to freeze, and Jill's like, she starts screaming as the water is turned to snow, the really cheap looking snow. And Jack rises out of the tub, holding a naked and screaming Jill, whose arms are now like inside the snowman. She's trapped like inside
to him.
Yeah. And Jack starts smashing her up against the wall over and over again, just banging her up against this wall. And now
she's screaming.
She's screaming bloody murder. She's like, ah! I mean, that's fine. You're getting destroyed by a fucking snowman,
banged by a snowman.
And now, this is the scene that pretty much everybody has come to think that it's the snowman is raping her. And that's what like everybody thinks. Like, this is the snowman rape scene, and people that think that Jack is fucking Jill with a carrot cock, but I think they're wrong.
There's no implication of that.
The carrot is not on his nose, but that's the only thing. But we never see where the carrot dick would be. It's not. You never see it, and then Jill is not necessarily acting or reacting like she's getting raped by a snowman too. and he's not making noise like, oh, he's not. She's just acting like she's getting
killed.
Smashed to death up against the wall. But then the problem is, so Jack stops and Jill falls to the floor. We get treated with Aaron's famous
Christmas came early.
Well, obviously the mouth blood, but all right. There
Oh,
you go.
well. Sorry. Yes,
yeah.
mouth blood. Sorry.
No, it's all
but
right.
That's the line that Jack Frost says afterwards. I kind of blew that one, didn't I? So Jack, she dies, mouth blood, and then he goes, well, looks like Christmas came early.
And that's what I'm getting to. So, but okay, I said there are no boobs in this scene, people. So sorry if you want to see her boobs, just go watch American Pie. And but yeah, so he does a Christmas came early, and that he hopes it was good for her, and then he puts the carrot back on his nose while smoking a pipe. So I guess those innuendos make it think are references to sex.
And then he says, "I guess I should send her some flowers."
Yeah.
What?
But
that's that weird, shitty pun.
Yeah.
That just what?
I don't know if it's like I had sex with somebody, so you send them flowers the next day. Like a day, I don't know, but I've
never done that.
So they make none. So I don't know. The one-liners at the end are referenced to like sexual puns, but would make you think they were. But I just don't think he was actually raping her.
I mean, I guess if someone wants to stretch that imagination, there's avenues to go.
Because all my research in this movie, everybody talked about the snowman rape scene. Everybody thinks that this snowman is raping her in this scene. And then if you want to take it another stretch for it is, first of all, Jack Frost, before he became a snowman, he's never a rapist in his backstory. He's just a crazy serial killer. He's just a killer. He was never accused of like rape or sexual assault. He was never had any kind of sexual instance.
You're really defending this.
Well, I just think like it doesn't. I don't know.
In your opinion, it's not.
It's not.
But
I have no problem if it is, because if it is, it is. Because I mean, last week we had a fucking turkey raping a girl. So a snowman wouldn't be that far off. I mean, it's not that going to bother me. I just don't think it is what people think it is.
All right, moving on.
So, anyway, back to the station. Marla gets a fax for Agent Manners about an incoming snowstorm, and Marla and Sheriff's like, "There's no way that Manners' men will be able to make it in town in time with the storm coming." So now they all hear the deputy's car pull up, and they go outside, but there's no sign of Chris, the deputy. And
they reach inside, and everything's wet.
The sheriff reaches inside, it's all wet. Then Marla finds the scarf that Jack took from the other house in a pile of snow, puts it on, and then the camera cuts to the sheriff's like, "No, don't put that on!" Like, why? What would you think had any problem with putting on? He has at this point, no reason to believe that anything.
No one knows about snowman. Jack Frost, the killer snowman,
except for Davro, who is missing. He's off running around right now, or unconscious.
So
somewhere.
She sees the scarf, like, oh, sweet, a scarf. Picks it up, and he's no. Why? There's no rationale.
There's none. So when the camera cuts back to Marla, Jack is standing behind her wearing the scarf and they're both wearing the same scarf. So, and she's like, she like scurries away. Manners shoots Jack's head off with this giant fucking pistol, and Jack just picks it up and puts it back on him. So now they decide it's a good idea to run away, and they run back into the police station. Inside, Agent Manners comes clean about what happened to Jack Frost. This is where we have he didn't really die.
Chemicals involved and da-da-da,
And water starts leaking in from underneath the door. And Manners decides the brilliant idea to shoot the water.
And he goes, that didn't work.
And is shocked when that doesn't work. Really? You're supposed to be an FBI agent, and you say, I'm going to shoot a puddle of water?
Let's shoot this puddle of water, see what happens.
Yeah. And Stone tells him that he can only be hurt when he is frozen. Again, how does fucking Stone know all this? Where is the book on this that he just magically knows all this information? And keep in mind, it's not like we find in the movie. It's not like he knows like the acid, what the acid is intentionally for. It was experimental. They had no fucking idea what was actually going to happen.
Right.
So it's not like the acid was designed to melt something with water. And you can't do
because initially it was used for experimentation. I mean, they were just need to experiment with it. Yeah, but anyway. So they run away.
Yeah, Jack reforms. He
Mhm.
comes in water. He leaks in. He reforms.
So Manners, Stone, and Marla run off down
to,
the hall,
the holding
this is
cell,
where the holding cells are.
And the sheriff grabs Marla's hairdryer from her desk and starts shooting it. I don't know how to blowing.
Starts blowing Jack Frost.
Blowing Jack, and Jack just stops and Jack's like, "Oh,
It's hot!
ow!" And Stone is yelling for the sheriff, "Don't hurt him! Don't hurt Jack!" And sheriff's backing up Jack, and the hair plier comes unplugged. And he's like, "Oh shit!" So the sheriff runs away after the other three. He runs into the holding cell area, locks the door behind him, and open up like a maintenance closet or something. And
they said we can fight him with heat. We can fight him with heat. Like, Manners says, "Do you have any aerosol cans?"
Yeah. And they dump out like 30 aerosol cans from this closet.
It's a shit ton of aerosol cans. It's like a whole bunch of Lysol.
Police station.
Yeah.
And so they fill like this entire hallway. But Stone is trying to stop. He's like, "No, don't do that." And he gets dragged away by Manners. So they spray all these cans in the hallway, which that's got to be bad for you.
Right.
And, but now they can't get out because of a locked window at the end of the hallway. So Manners wants to shoot him, but Sheriff's like, "Don't do that because this whole place will go up because of the aerosol."
Because of all the 30 aerosol
Yeah.
cans.
So he realizes that he left the keys hanging in the locked door at the end of the hallway.
So he's got where
He has
Jack
to go
Frost
back-
is
yeah.
leaking through
Yeah.
now.
So he has to go back through, and he goes back through, but by now the hallway is so filled with fog
and aerosol.
yes,
Spray,
smoke or spray.
yeah.
It's basically like a fog machine in a closet is what it looks like. And the water is leaking in from underneath the door. And he gets the keys and he drops it, and he's making this huge ordeal of like, "Dude, just grab the fucking keys and
he's
turn."
like, and he's telling himself, he's like, "Just grab them,
Yeah.
just grab the keys."
But
He's he's pumping himself up because I guess he's scared of Jack Frost coming through the.
He's scared of the water
Yeah.
right now. He's like, and he gets the keys and he drops them. He immediately drops them in the puddle of water. He's like, "Oh my God." So he, again, the most drawn out, overdone motion, he bends down, picks up the keys, and turns to run. And as soon as he turns to run, bam, Jack's arm comes out of the puddle of water, grabbing the sheriff by the ankle, tripping him over. Sheriff gets free and rushes back to the others, but gets grabbed by Davro, who's been locked up in the holding cell. And like, how the fuck did they not see him earlier?
Right.
They were in this hallway. They ran right past him. And even if they didn't see him, if he was in the back, why isn't Davro like, "Hey guys,
what's going on?"
Yeah, I'm like, why is he like, "Hey, you guys let me out of here? You know,
Yeah.
I hear you all screaming.
You seem to be in a panic.
Something bad's going to happen.
Yeah.
I sure would like to get out of this cell, but no." Like, what the? He's got it. He's this movie. So sheriff finally get the cell open, and they go back to the end of the hall by the window to join the rest of the others. They get the window open, and out they go one by one. And the sheriff's just about to get out the window, and he gets out and closes the window right as Jack smashes his face into the window, the sliding window. Manners turns and shoots the window. The bullet sets off an explosion that destroys the entire police station.
And they don't show any explosion effect at all.
Not really. You see a very little one, but yeah, you don't really
It's so bad.
Yeah. And then Jack explodes into tiny pieces of snow. The rest of the town people come out of the church that, again, looks like a goddamn general store to see what happened. The tiny pieces of Jack start kind of like Terminator 2 style. Like, kind of like growing back.
Worse.
Yeah, it's much worse. And he reforms, only this time he's all fucking messed up. He even calls himself, "Hey, look at me, I'm a Picasso."
Yeah.
Because his like head's on his side and arms sticking out weird.
Yeah,
he's all
like,
messed
who's
up.
got Tylenol?
Yeah.
And, Jesus.
Fucking awful. And so everyone runs away or back inside the church, except for one guy.
Who walks
One
out?
guy, well, everybody's crazy rushing into church, and he just calmly walks out the front doors carrying like 2 marshmallows on a stick.
Right!
And just walks off like nothing's happened. He's like,
Right.
"Wait, like, what?"
It's so weird. Everyone screams, rushes out, and he just walks back and just goes,
"Doop-de-doop-de-doop-de-doop."
with the fucking stick with 2
Like, is
marshmallows
he
on
gonna
it.
roast marshmallows in the burning police station? Like, is that what's happening here?
What is going on?
Like, what is... So I was like, what the fuck?
But isn't this also when Marla talks to?
Yeah, because Marla and the deputy get locked out of the church, and they're like, "Your place or mine?" And they're like, "Well, your place." So they go off to Marla's place, and you never see him again.
Well,
That's
hopefully,
it.
they go to Bone
They're
Town.
probably off banging. Then
Yeah.
good for them. If they are, whatever. So yeah, they disappear. You never see them again. In a back room of the church, Manners and the sheriff are interrogating Stone about what he knows about Jack Frost and what's been happening. And Stone tells him that he created an acid that would bond human genetic material to innate material to ensure the human race would survive a global holocaust by resurrecting them in the future. What the fuck?
So I guess this material or acid, when applied to human/inanimate innate objects, like I guess you could make the Sandman,
Yeah,
or
literally.
Hydro Man, or in this case Jack Frost with snow. So
Which basically is Hydro Man, really.
yeah,
So Stone says that they have to contain him by putting him in a watertight container, or enough sustained heat could break apart his molecular structure.
right.
And we see the priest again. We see on and off. He goes down to the basement, turns up this gigantic fucking furnace.
Fucking huge.
It's massive. It's like the type of church furnace you see in like a goddamn prison or like a huge complex, not
Or
necessarily
like
a
Freddy
little
Krueger
church.
be hanging on that boiler.
Yeah,
room,
like a boiler.
you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's massive. It's bigger than like a goddamn refrigerator. It's huge. So Jack. So they all go outside. Jack, Manners, Stone. For some reason they're outside, like trying to lure Jack back to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're outside hanging out, and they start screaming, "What's that rumbling?" It's like, some like Jurassic Park, boom, boom. What's the shaking? And all of a sudden they look up and they scream, "Ah!" And a giant fucking snowball comes rolling down the hill, crashes in through the church doors.
Like the boulder from Indiana Jones.
Yep, exactly. And so inside, Jack reforms into his snowman self. He rushes at Manners, Stone, Sheriff, and Davro, and who all just whip out hair dryers and start blasting them at Jack. And he's like, oh God, no. And they start backing him up, and they're pushing him back.
And then the townspeople...
The sheriff's wife just pops up out of nowhere
Sure, they're like
with another hair dryer.
All the townspeople suddenly have hair dryers.
Exactly.
And her hair dry... Where are all these hair dryers coming from? What is happening?
All the cords are tangled together and apparently plugged in like the one power strip into one. I'm like, that's just a fire hazard right there. That's not safe. And the world's largest extension cord ever, because they're up in the lobby or the church general store, whatever, and they somehow like shepherd him or corral him all the way downstairs
to the furnace,
the basement, into the furnace room, up against the furnace with this hair dryers on these extension cords.
Jesus.
And they managed to actually get him
into the furnace
somehow. Like, I don't know. They don't show it. He's just up. They see him in the furnace room, and the next thing you know, he's in the furnace. Like, so Jack just like, I'm gonna go ahead and hop into this fire.
I see they're getting me with hair dryers.
Hair dryers, or I can jump into this fire giant furnace. Yeah, I'll
take the furnace.
Yeah, I'll
take the furnace.
Fucking retarded. So they get him in the furnace, which again at this point it's like an old wood burn thing because there's fire burning,
and
like
he's
a big
screaming,
round
industrial
door,
one, yeah. And he's screaming, he's burning up, steam's rising, and everyone's like, yeah, they're all high-fiving, and looks like they vanquished Jack Frost.
And I do want to take I don't know if you noticed this, but there's a side note of did you notice what was written on the furnace door?
I did not.
Okay. This is written on the door of a furnace in a church. Danger. Poison gas. Trustees will not open this door except under supervision. Which makes me think, what the fuck are they burning in there that gives off poisonous gas? Because wood doesn't give it smoke, but it's not poisonous gas, really. Coal? I don't think so. Maybe I'm ignorant, but what is giving off poisonous gas? This thing has a warning sign.
Maybe it was gas. Maybe it's a gas furnace. Just a gigantic fucking.
But if there's a gas, why is there
furnace?
Like fire in the belly of this thing?
Yeah,
I just thought that was fucking weird.
Yeah,
It's so weird. So the town folk leave, and
They're all pumped.
and they leave Stone and Manners alone in front of the giant poison gas furnace, and they notice that the steam from the furnace has caused condensation to form on the windows in the basement. And Manners like, "Oh shit!" And he turns around to see a newly formed Jack standing behind him, holding the plug to a hairdryer, and he says, "Blow me."
Yeah. Now, didn't they just talk about how heat can destroy the molecular structure?
Yeah, I believe they did. Yes.
Yeah, and they threw him into a raging inferno inside
furnace.
of this furnace.
Yes, they did.
But nah, he's back.
No, doesn't matter.
Didn't work.
Didn't work. And so he then Jack like unhinges his mouth like a goddamn snake, while icicle fangs grow, and then he bites into Manners' face, which
But-
is supposed to kill him. But it's so
It's a really bad effect. 'Cause
it's
it just
awful, 'cause
looks
I'm
like
oh,
they
he's gonna
sliced
bite his
him
whole
up.
head off. It's like, oh, he's gonna bite his head off. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
No, it's like he just
Yeah.
kind of like goes
Scratch.
It's like a cat scratch. It's
Yeah.
like a little bigger. It's like a big cat. It's like.
Yeah. Like got
It's not
scratched. He got scratched pretty bad.
Yeah, he's got some scratch marks down, but apparently that is enough to kill him. So
Manners
he
is a
dies.
pussy.
And then he turns on Stone, and Stone tries to stall him and beg with Jack by asking, "Hey, I can help you," and but he's like, "I don't want to be helped. I like it." He's like, "Well, what's it like then to have breached death and be immortal?" He's like, "Just talk to me. I want to know." And he's like, Jack's like, it just says, "It's cold." It's just like, "What's it like to be immortal?" "It's cold." That's what he
He
says.
goes, well, it's gone.
It's all
And
drawn out.
he kills him.
And then he cuts away. You don't know what happened. The camera just cuts away. And then outside, the sheriff's loading up his stupid ass son into his squad car. He turns to go back into the church for, I don't know why or for what.
His keys.
Was it the
his
keys? I don't.
Yeah, it was his keys. It was his keys.
All right.
This guy has problems
Yeah.
with his fucking keys,
Put
man.
him on your goddamn belt.
Yeah.
You have a key ring, I'm
Got, like, a
sure.
goddamn
Jesus.
utility belt.
Yeah. So he gets to the doors of the church, and as soon as he gets Stone comes stiffly walking out. And it kind of reminds me of the bug guy from Men in Black. Because his face on the story is all
Yeah.
like, "Wah, wah, wah."
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I kind of like this.
Vince D'Onofrio or whatever.
The guy who plays Kingpin in Daredevil.
Yeah. Men in Black. And the sheriff just kind of looks at him oddly as Stone tries to like walk past him. And then out of nowhere, then he's like walking past, and Sheriff's like, whatever, he's weird. So if Jack was trying to just walk away, he could have.
He could have done it, but then he goes,
He's like,
fuck it.
Yep, he just fuck it. And at this point, Stone's neck starts swelling, and he vomits out a carrot, or spits out a carrot, and then starts vomiting up snow and coal. And the sheriff runs for his car as Jack reforms, and he moves, maneuvers his way in front of the cop car.
This is a Saturday Night Live kind of effect.
It
Like
really
the throwing
is.
up scene where he's it's just
Like
going
you can almost
and
see the
going
hose
and
on
going.
the tape to the other
It's
side of
just
his
like out of
mouth.
Saturday Night Live or
Yeah.
something, yeah.
And so Jack starts melting himself down again and begins to flood into the car through the air vents.
Mhm.
And the sheriff grabs his son and tells him, "Don't touch the water. Don't let it touch you." And he's like putting him on his lap and like, why not just get the fuck out of the car?
That's the first thing I thought. It's like, well, just get out.
Yeah, just get out.
Get out of the car.
Like,
Open the door.
and get out. But
Yeah.
no, they don't. They make a huger deal. And instead of just getting out of the car, they decide to kick open the
Kicks out the
steering
window.
He kicks open the steering panel
That's
to try
right.
to hotwire the car
That's
first.
right. That's right.
And then this is when Jack forms in the back seat behind them, and that's when like, oh shit, kick out the window.
Instead of just opening the
But
door.
why did Jack just, if he wants the dead, just kill him? Because the amount of time it takes him to kick open that window and get his son out and get the sheriff out, Jack's just sitting there in the back seat watching,
Talking
like,
shit.
just talking shit, like, I'm seeing you. I could kill you right now, but I'm not. It's like, what's the point of this?
Yeah.
So the sheriff is getting out, and he tosses as he's like sliding out the window, he tosses that bag of oatmeal
Yes.
shit that his son made cooked into Jack's face, and Jack's face starts burning, and he's like, "Oh shit!" And he's like, "Son, what'd you put in that oatmeal?" And he's like, "Son's like, I don't want to tell you, but what'd you put in there?" He's like, I didn't want you to get cold.
I didn't want you to get cold.
So I put antifreeze in the oatmeal.
What
the fuck?
Little psychopath.
Exactly. I'm like, okay, this is the world's stupidest fucking kid, or or secretly he's trying to kill his father or both his parents.
He has been touched by Satan.
He has.
He does have the devil in him.
This is like Omen shit. He's trying to kill his parents. Who puts antifreeze in somebody's food?
Jesus Christ.
What the fuck, kid? Oh. So anyway, Jack gets out of the car, and now half his face is melting like a fleshy goo, and he just gets hits by a truck driven by Davro, who just drives up and hits him with a truck.
And the whole body goes flying as one piece.
It's not like it explodes in the snow; just one poop. Yeah,
yeah. And he's
going better effect.
And he goes flying. You're going, whoa! And this is where it gets stupidly. Someone get the number of that truck.
Yeah, like I can see your house from up here. That's right. Yeah. Like they went from horror, trying to be horror, like, and then like, you know what? They just threw away like, fuck it, we're going comedy,
we're going wacky.
Yeah. So the sheriff tells Davro to go back to his hardware store and get all the antifreeze he can, and then he leads Jack on a chase throughout the church. And which now it seems more like a goddamn hotel or bed and breakfast because
it's an apartment complex because he's not gonna people are behind these doors going, oh, it's my husband or something.
Yeah, it's like people are banging behind these doors.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what's going on here? This is a church, but there's a hallway full of doors. It's like,
what's happening?
It's like everyone's just banging in the church right now, and so yeah, the whole scene is basically a sheriff running from one room to the next with Jack melting in the water and reforming on the other side of the door over and over. It happens like 3 times throughout this whole scene. And accompanied by endless puns and one-liners throughout the entire scene. Jack does manage to get the sheriff pinned against the door while holding him, he grows an icicle out of his chest that slowly begins to impale into the sheriff's, I guess, heart. They just keep saying heart, but it doesn't look like it's
definitely not where his heart's located. Yeah. No, it's like in his shoulder.
Yeah,
you know,
or like I keep saying like his right side.
Yeah.
But they keep saying like, oh, this is like a cold in the heart or something.
Yeah,
like
it's on his right side, and it's near his. It's like up. It's like upper pectoral.
Yeah, in the wide shots, you don't see anything. You just see him like a snowman holding a guy going ah. But in the close-ups, you can clearly tell it's
on the right side
of the body. So the sheriff then starts playing dead. He starts like just long enough until Davro shows up with his truck and backs his truck up so the bed of the truck is facing the church.
He puts down a blue tarp in the bed of the truck and he's filled it with antifreeze.
Yeah, antifreeze pool. And so then the sheriff springs to life and tackles Jack out of the second-story window. They crash through the window and bam into the truck bed filled with antifreeze.
Perfect placement, perfect positioning.
How did he know he was going to be there?
There's no way.
No.
So he smashes through with the snowman beneath him, flying through. And if you remember, the window that he burst through had a tarp, had like a decoration of a snowman on it, so he couldn't even see out the fucking window.
Oh.
There's no way he could have seen this. So I was thinking, is he sacrificing himself? And when he bursts through the window, he just happens to be landing in the antifreeze truck.
Yeah. Now, I will give the actor here, Chris or Christopher Allport, credit for this scene. Because he's basically fighting what's supposed to be like he's supposed to be fighting Jack and holding him under this antifreeze while Jack fights back and melts away and dies. But it's basically just this actor rolling around with a piece of wet foam in a pool in the back of a truck.
Punching it.
And so I give that credit because he is trying to sell this scene.
Hell yeah, he is.
He is going all out. And so eventually Jack does melt away in the antifreeze while the sheriff's family, Davro, and the priest all look on.
Well, but that's when the kid
picks up one of the arms that came off when someone goes,
"Hey, Dad, you forgot this piece."
And then it comes up and wraps around the kid's face and head like an anaconda.
So they just throw the kid.
They pick him up, scoops him, and they just throw him in the pool of antifreeze. They dunk him in the pool like he's getting goddamn baptized. It's like, thump, just throw him in. And he like Defy like holds him under the water.
Just keeps dunking the kid. I like that scene. That's great.
Like, that kid fucking deserves it. He's like, he does it. I was like, this is for the fucking antifreeze. You're gonna feed me antifreeze.
You're gonna fucking drown in antifreeze, kid.
Just payback.
I don't know much about antifreeze, but this can't be good for these people.
No,
I mean,
I'm pretty sure it says don't swallow. Don't,
You're swimming in it.
Yeah.
You're fucking swimming.
Yeah, you're swallowing some of that. You can't help
It's
it.
gotta be good for your skin.
Nope.
I mean,
your eyes.
oh, God.
Can't be good. So the arm melts away. They all hug. And, it's all over. And now it cuts to everybody at the cemetery. And they're refilling all the antifreeze containers with the antifreeze from the back of the truck and burying them in a basically mass antifreeze grave.
Yeah.
As the Denver cops or FBI people show up. And it kind of fades away and it cuts to the antifreeze containers underground. The camera zooms in on one of them as it begins to bubble inside. And it's glowing green.
Yeah.
And it's like bubbling up. Blackout. Roll credits. Good guy. Now, throughout the credits, there's no scenes or anything but it's some weird ass shit. There are quotes. Like there's a cast and a quote, and then like the next group. So in between these things are these quotes or lines that I'm guessing the people who made it thought were supposed to be funny or inside jokes for the cast and crew. But they make it's like I just wrote down. There's a ton of them. I just wrote down some. But here's what some were like: is the soup done yet? That's the thing about snowmen is they don't really have arms. You want to be 12? Can I have fries with that? Don't eat yellow snow, and etc. It's just random weird ass shit that they put in these credits that make no fucking sense.
This doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. None whatsoever. So anyway, fuck this movie. I hate this movie. Fuck it to hell. Let's go on to favorite kills.
There can be only one. Favorite kill?
All right, favorite kills. Fuck it. I don't even want to waste time with this anymore. Aaron, what's your favorite kill?
To be perfectly honest, I like the lady getting put on the tree. I like that kill. I mean, it's a bad effect, but I really love like the face getting. I love it when like rap, and she goes and slaps some ornament in her mouth and then slams her jaw shut. I was like, it was funny. Takes her head, smashes an ornament, shakes it around, pulls it back. She's covered in blood. Smacks her a few times, smashes her face back down again. It was so comical and quick cuts. They were quick cuts, like boom, bam, bam. It was just. I liked that kill. I thought it was funny.
All right. I agree with you on that. At first I was gonna say my favorite kill was probably gonna be Tommy, just because the icicles, all that. Just because of all of them, that's probably the best effect
I
in the
agree,
movie.
yeah.
It's still shitty, but it's the best effects of the movie. But you're right. I mean, creativity. The ornament kill tree thing is probably the most entertaining. So quality wise, I go Tommy. But I'll say, yeah, I guess my favorite kill and most ridiculous. I agree with you. Is Billy's mom with the tree and the ornaments and lights.
I love that kill.
So, all right, that's kind of what we'll just agree with that one. Because guys, I hate this.
You can
movie.
probably find just that kill on YouTube.
Oh, I'm sure you probably can. Moving on to odds and ends.
Not only did they watch these films, they researched them too. Ugh, what is wrong with these guys?
Start with ratings. IMDb 4.5 out of 10, which I thought was really high for this movie.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes 7% on the tomato meter with a 30% audience score. The 7% I'll buy.
Yeah.
Because even to me that's still too high for this movie. But the 30% audience, I'm like, fuck you people. You guys are idiots. And then good old fucking Amazon.
3.5?
4 out of 5. And you want to know the craziest thing about Amazon? I shit you not, people. Go on Amazon and look up this movie in the DVD department. You want to take a guess at how much the letterbox version of this DVD is selling for on Amazon as of yesterday?
I'm guessing it has a low print number, so I'm going to guess $20, $25?
$101.99 for this fucking piece of shit on Amazon. What the fuck is wrong?
Who in their right balls would
Exactly.
You can get it for free on YouTube.
You can watch it free Hulu, probably Netflix. Yeah, $101. And it's not like the DVD has like super extras. It's a shitty DVD. Yeah, it's letterbox, whippity fucking do. Everything is nowadays, but $102. And that doesn't include shipping. Anyway, plot keywords. As always, one thing I shouldn't say as always. One thing I've started doing now is I start writing down the plot keywords before I even watch the movies. So I just kind of nothing spoiled. Even though I kind of have an idea what the movie's about, I just want to take me by surprise and just see what I'm in for. So the honest ones here are reference to Oprah Winfrey.
That's right.
Black panties, child murder, bloody body of a child, death of a child, raped by monster, and supernatural rape are the plot keywords for this movie.
They must have really done that. They must have really sold it on the rape.
That's what I'm saying. Again, like I don't know. I have my bid, but I don't think it's rape.
There is child murder.
There is child murder.
There is child murder.
And attempted. I'm calling out attempted murder by a child.
Right.
That kid was gonna kill his fucking parents.
Well, maybe it'd be manslaughter.
That's intentional. I'm putting antifreeze in somebody's fucking oatmeal. That's premeditated. So all right, moving on to trivia. Barely anything for this movie.
Really?
Couldn't find anything. The only, like I said earlier, it's Shannon Elizabeth's first movie role. Now, some people say it's her first acting role. It's not. Even on IMDb, it says she did a few small TV spots before this movie. This is her first movie featured length movie acting role. Even though the license plates on the cars say Colorado,
had to be shot in California.
Yeah, it was shot in California, which explains why there's no fucking snow anywhere.
Right off the bat, I'm looking around. I'm like, okay, well, this is probably northern California.
It's like San Bernardino and Bear Valley and some national park or something like that. Yeah.
Jesus. Topical. San Bernardino is just in the news.
And one thing I found I don't know if you noticed this too, but with the exception of the opening scene where the snow is being blown across the road in the snowstorm with the trucks, the whole movie they keep making like there's sounds of wind rustling and whistling, but there's never ever any indication that there's ever wind itself. No one's hair is ever blowing. Nobody's like, oh, the wind's so cold, but you always hear like wind, the sound effect of wind. But yeah, it's this shitty effect.
Something I noticed also is that you can see no one's breath.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like negative 20, everybody's bowed up, but yeah, you never see anybody's breath or anything.
Never see anyone's breath.
It's probably like 60 degrees when they're filming this movie.
It's a nice day.
Yep. All right, so that's it for trivia. Now, sadly, we would do the budget game here, but again, I could find no budget.
Oh, bummer.
I know, I was psyched. But, this is what I was glad about, because this is where I was going to make my comment earlier, because you were talking about the crappiness of the effects. And
yes.
I mentioned it too. And I want to say, this movie was a much bigger release and, had actual, like, character actors and they tried to go like a higher quality here. You could tell. And so the budget had to be a lot higher than what was for Thanksgiving, which was like an all-time record low, which was $3,500. This movie fucking sucks so goddamn much. Like, what did they waste that money on? Because I would say right now, people go watch Thanksgiving over this movie.
Yes.
And they did that movie with basically like $5,000. Like, Jesus Christ, that's like
less than $5,000.
Yeah, you could buy a car like cheaper than the price of a car. They made this movie, and the monster effects are way better. I never thought I'd say the script or the writing was better because it was not great writing in that movie either. It was awful, but at least the turkey's one-liners and puns were more relevant and funnier.
Right.
So much better with basically peanuts compared to this movie.
So okay, I hear you what you're saying, but I gotta stick up for Jack Frost just a little bit here because it was made in 1997. So they're really this is kind of it's kind of cut from the same cloth as Leprechaun because Leprechaun came out I think just like a year or two before also. So it's kind of riding that wave of holiday fun, horror in a way, because Leprechaun had St. Patrick's Day, and Jack Frost has
if you're going to
Christmas.
say that, there's also a lot of other Christmas horror movies that are way better than this one.
True, but this is more kind of going with the fun, witty killer,
Maybe, but goddamn, this movie. So was Thanksgiving, but yes, Thanksgiving was later, but I don't know.
Basically, what I'm trying to say maybe is without Jack Frost, there wouldn't have been a Thanksgiving. Just a thought.
Maybe.
Just a thought. That's all.
Right.
That's all.
So, yeah, sadly, no budget game this week, which is always disappointing.
I'm going to take a guess in case just anybody knows it. Or what the hell. I'm going to go and guess because they did have actual real actors with credits. You have to pay them.
Take your guess.
$200,000.
200,000. All right. Well, if we ever find the information,
If
maybe.
anybody knows, let us know.
All right. So moving on to 5-star reviews.
These special movies have a place in these special people's hearts. 5-star reviews.
Now, I did find, surprisingly, several 5-star reviews of this movie.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those cult kind of movies.
Now, it's funny that you were just sticking up for this movie, Aaron,
Uh,
because the first 5-star review I found on Amazon is from a reviewer named Aaron.
ooh. Intriguing.
This is a masterpiece in every single sense of the word. If you don't agree with me, as many viewers clearly don't, I don't want to be your friend.
Oh.
Watch this every Christmas at least 30 times, or you don't have the true holiday spirit. Yes, this is a masterpiece, as I have stated. Do watch it, won't you? 5 stars. All right, from B. Morja, titled Best Movie Ever. You should kill yourself if you don't get this movie.
All right.
It's super cheesy, but so funny and great around the holiday. If you like cheesy movies like Army of Darkness and all of that, then you need this. 5 stars.
Army of Darkness and all that?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yep. Kill yourself, fucker.
Yeah,
You should kill yourself. That's coming out a little harsh.
Fucking die.
Yeah. 2 more from second last from Adam. You know, I just bought this movie and watched it again, and this is definitely a genuinely funny movie. And come on, even if you don't laugh that much, you get to see a guy in a snowman costume pretend to rape Shannon Elizabeth in the shower, and man, does she have a beautiful buttocks. 5 stars.
Beautiful buttocks.
Yep. And lastly, oh God, this one. All right, bear with me. This is a kid's review. I'm sorry, I don't really like these. And
So, is it prefaced as a kid?
yeah, it just says kids review, and there's no name.
Because a kid should see a movie with snowman rape.
Yeah, and the title is World's Most Pissed Off Snow Cone. Now, please forgive any typos and weird because
It's gonna be tough to read.
It is. It's tough to read. All right. I've seen this on demand, not pay-per-view, but on demand like 500,000 times now, and I'm still loving it. In fact, Frost is my favorite on-screen serial killer so far. The movie is about a convicted serial killer / oddball who goes by the name Jack Frost. No, that is his name. He doesn't go by the name. That is his name. Now, Jack has killed over 38 people in the past 5 years. Jack was nimble. Jack was quick. Jack gouged eyes with candlesticks, crushed in skulls with sticks and stones, using iron rods to crush their bones. And that's from the poem of the opening of the movie.
Right. This kid's quoting the movie, essentially.
Anyway, the van crashed and smashed into some semi holding acid and other chemicals. After attempting to kill 2 officers, 1 officer was still left, so Jack finds him, at least tries to off him, but no. Chemicals from the semi spill and spew into Jack's face, causing his skin to dissolve, mixed with the snow, genetically mutating him into a killer snowman.
Okay, we already did the whole play of the movie. All right.
Thus, he goes to the old Tyler's house, skipping ahead. ... Okay, now, I didn't skip so far, so be patient. Anyway, about 15 minutes into the movie, a kid's mom takes her son into putting the finishing touches on an unfinished snowman. Guess who? Good guess, but it's not Santa Claus. It's old Jack. No, not Jack Lemmon, you retards. Damn it. Or no, you retards, darn it. It's freaking Jack Frost. Well, I don't want to waste your time.
Too late.
Much less give away the ending, so bye, misspelled, dum-dums, and have a bloody new year. 5 stars.
Jesus Christ.
The only reason, I had it is because I don't want to waste your time. Then why the fuck you write out that entire, movie?
What's that kid's name?
It just says kids review.
Fuck you, kid.
Yeah, I said the same thing. Fuck you. It's not Jack Lemmon, you retards.
That I did like.
Yeah. Okay. So, closing remarks. So bad's good, so bad's scary. Aaron, what's your closing thoughts?
I wanted to like this movie. I really did. I'm I just can't. You know, I mean, when I was watching, I'm just like, oh, I could be doing something else. I mean, what's going on? I mean, I know it's for the podcast, but oh god, so bad it's scary.
Yeah. I agree. I totally. But this movie, I hate this movie. I had forgotten that I actually watched this like years ago. Like when I started, I was like, "Oh fuck, not this one again." And yeah, I hate this movie. I much rather go watch like seriously. If you want a movie with really bad like cheesy effects and a lame killer or something, go watch Thanksgiving. Go back and watch Killer Eye Halloween Haunt. I stand by that movie. Those movies are so much better than this, and this, which is so sad because those had nothing of a budget compared to this, and it fucking sucks so bad it's scary. Don't watch this movie.
I wanted it. I think it had potential. I really do think it had potential, but it just doesn't deliver.
No. All right, so that does it for week 1 of our holiday month-long special. We'll be back next week with another Christmas episode. Remember, follow us on Facebook. Check out our website, horriblehorrorpodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter at SoBadIt'sScary. You can download and listen to the podcast at Podbean under horriblehorror.podbean.com. And, of course, you can subscribe to us, like us, and all that good stuff on iTunes for free, 100% free, no price to you. Great holiday present. Makes a great stocking stuffer.
Oh, yeah.
So with that, I want to go. I just strangle myself for watching this movie and drink a lot of scotch and try to forget this. So until then, watch more horror movies. Peace out.
Happy holidays.